All right, friends, ManifestHER 2026. It happened. It was amazing. It was better than we could have imagined. And I'm here to share so much of the behind the scenes with you. Let's dive in. Welcome to the High Vibes Podcast. I'm Binu, your host. My goal with every episode is to leave you feeling better, shining your light a little bit brighter than before you press play. Let's dive in. All right, so if you've been following along for a bit, you know that my girlfriend, Renee Walkers, and I co-hosted this biggest event that we've ever put together, alone together. And it was like a production. One of our friends had said, this is like a production, down to the timestamp of when to play the music before the next speaker went up. It was all just flowing in a beautiful way. And what's really interesting, I want to share actually more of the behind the scenes of how things went, because I've had a lot of people reach out and say, like, how did you two do this? Like, it was perfect. And I just want everybody to always know, like, nothing is perfect. Like, it's perfect in how it was, but it wasn't exactly how we imagined. Like, everything did not happen as we intended. And I think that's really important to understand, especially those of you that want to run your own events. Renee and I really want to share so many of these things with you, because there's a way to do events where you could be totally stressed out, totally not regulated in your nervous system, have anxiety, low-level overwhelm the whole few months leading up, or there's a way to not have all of that. And we did it the way where, and I'll be honest with you, it's not like we were free of stress. We were free of overwhelm. Like, it came, but it was minimal. And that's how I want you to really understand how to do all of this, because it's so possible. And the true test of it was, and even Renee and I didn't see this coming, was the morning of the event, we felt so calm. We were almost questioning how calm we felt, but I knew it was my inner spirit, my soul, very present, like very aware of where she was and very prepared. Like, we were talking about manifesting. We had manifested that event and created the experience of it already in our mind, body, and soul, that when we got there, it was like this calm, was this of courseness, like this has already happened. And that place where we can hang out is quite a beautiful place. And this takes practice. And this is the practice we've all been working on. And it's what we both teach in our programs and with our clients. And this truly is the way. To me, this is the feminine freedom model. This is, and feminine's not gender, it's the feminine energetics, which is the foundation of getting things done, which is the masculine energetics. And we talked a lot about that, but I'm actually not going to go into the details of the event. I would love for you to go listen to Renee's recap on her podcast called Spiritually Wired, because she actually went through specifics of the speakers and the vendors and all the people that played a part, our MC, our event planner, our support staff, our videographers, our DJ, all the things. And I thought I would do something a little bit different. So I want to go through the behind the scenes, how I stayed calm. I'm just going to talk about myself, how I stayed regulated, and how I had a little bit of stress. And so I actually have 5 things that I want to go through. The first one is creating space, the physical and the energetic space. And so what I mean by that is, I'm already leading a business. I have a coaching business. I have a mentorship group. I have private coaching clients. I am planning smaller events. I do master classes. I do challenges online. And I create a lot of Instagram content, which is part of my business. So then this big idea comes in to run the largest event that I've ever co-hosted. We need space. Like, I need not just physical space in my calendar to plan and have meetings with, my co-host and our event planner, but I need space to breathe. Like, I need space to embody what we're doing while we're doing it. This is not of just a mind thing. This is not a logical get things done. That's not just the masculine energy. We need the space in our calendar to breathe, to flow, to feel, to go inward and notice what feels right, what doesn't feel right. We had a lot of decisions to make along the way, and we need that space to go inward and tap into to my own soul, to my own inner spirit, to check in like, does this feel good for me? And we would adjust these things based on how we felt. And we're both spiritual teachers, so this was really fascinating to run an event with another spiritual teacher, spiritual coach, because we were both doing this. We were both tuning inward and going, wait, I don't know about this. I don't know about that. Like, we both trust our own inner guidance so much that it made for a beautiful planning experience. So I do suggest, if you're planning anything with yourself or with other people, getting a practice of going inward more to tune into what you're doing and ask yourself, does this feel good? Does this feel right? And if it doesn't, to be open to the ideas of what does feel more right. And then creating energetic space. This is actually my favorite place to hang out right now. I've been doing so much of this internal expansion of my capacity to hold more the last year. And it's literally an energy thing. So sitting still and opening myself up to imagining all the women buying their tickets, all the women in their room, and holding space for that, and then holding space for, my co-host and myself through all the life things that were happening while we were planning the event. So the last 6 months that we were planning, we both had life happen. We both had other big things that we were doing behind the scenes. We both had our businesses that were already running. We have clients that we hold space for and speak to and coach. We have children. We have partners. We have parents, like all the things. So that energetic expansion is really important. And I do this in my Limitless group and with my private clients. It's such a beautiful thing. So I just wanted to drop that in. The second thing is asking for help. This is a big one. And I know, a lot of us, oh yes, we hire an event planner. Yes, but it's asking for help in a whole bunch of different ways. It's actually to allow the help. So when someone says like, I can do that for you, to let them. Like if it's not something that is in your genius zone, let them. And we did this with our event planner. And it kind of shifted as we went along. And this is how we learned, because next year we're going to offer her more things to take off our plate. So we could stay in our genius zone to create the content, to connect with sponsors and vendors and have these conversations behind the scenes so that we could have the right people in the room. And that was really meaningful for us. It's not just to take anybody's money for our sponsorship or just not to have anybody's booth at our event. It was really meaningful who we invited to be our sponsors and our vendors. And I just want to drip that. It's really staying with what is your calling and letting others do what is their best. It really allows things to flow. And that's the feminine part as well, is like allowing things to be ease and flow with deadlines and decisions and reviewing booklet templates and all the things, right? But you can still be in ease and flow and get things done. I just want you to know that. The third piece is believe and trust. Believe in what you're building. And sometimes you have to recheck in. I tell you, everything is an inward game to me right now. Wealth is an inward game. Health is an inward game. But believing in what you're building over and over, because sometimes you can get sidetracked. Sometimes we can get sidetracked. Sometimes we can get sidetracked and we start maybe having some resistance, or maybe we're not selling those last few tickets, or maybe, we have still, we had 3 sponsorships spots open near the end. And yeah, you get into a little bit of worry, we were relying on the sponsorship money in order to do some of the bigger things that we did for the event to bring more to the ladies that were attending. And so we had to believe in what we were building, and we had to talk over and over again, we had to discuss our trust in the bigger plan, in the bigger universal power that was helping us and partnering with us. And we live this, like we spoke about this on stage, like manifesting, really the foundation is that there's a higher power at play, that we are partnering with a higher power at play. And we live by this. Like literally, I live this way. I've embodied it. And when you're planning an event, you must trust. You must trust. And yes, you might shift off of belief and trust here and there because we're human. Our brain does that. And then it's our job to have that space so we could close our eyes, put our hand on our heart, go inward and go, okay, why are we doing this? I believe in what we're building. We believe this is so important. Women are jumping at the tickets this year. And that's a little side note if you're running events. The first time you do anything, it is a big experiment. Like you're really trusting the big magical idea you had. You're really trusting the nudge you have on your heart and your soul. But once you do something and the word gets out and people have an experience, and we were really focused on having an experience. It wasn't like teaching concepts. It was really allowing this flow to happen in the day with our speakers, with our own personal talks, with our panel of experts, and really allowing the audience to have an experience. Because when they have an experience, they feel deeper. They feel what it feels like to feel better, to believe in themselves more, to have that limitless possibility mindset again, to stop making themselves small, to stop like freezing when they really want to do something, to get the fears and the doubts out of the way, to feel supported. And yes, it makes them want to come back again, but it makes them go out to their own life feeling like they can do whatever they put their mind to. And that's what we want. We really want more women believing in themselves more and trusting in themselves more, but believing and trusting in the universe being their partner more. And I think we did a good job. And I really feel like there's not enough events that are speaking about this kind of thing. So maybe it's our job. This is the job Renee and I were hired for, and we said yes. And we're going to do it more and more because to us, this is the way. So when you believe and trust in your own inner spirit, in your own soul voice, and you honor that, it's really magical, especially when you're collaborating with somebody. We had this happen often between us where Renee would have an idea or I would have an idea and we'd want to run it by each other. And we'd trust our own, there's some ideas that would come and I would think like, oh my gosh, Renee's going to think I'm so silly. Like she's going to think this is so silly. And she never thought it was silly. And that's what we realized with each other is that we just had this trust. We had a trust in each other's intuition. Isn't that powerful? When you can trust somebody else's intuition because they trust their intuition, it's actually really magical. Now, every idea we had and we ran by each other, we did not follow through with. And that's a whole other episode. Sometimes ideas come and maybe they're not for now, but maybe they're for later. That's really the nutshell of it all. I personally had a few that I thought were going to be for this event. And then as we went along, I was like, no, this is for another event. So stay tuned for some of the big magical ideas that had come to me that we didn't exercise at this event. And so then it's like that, trusting your partner, like not just trusting the universe, but trusting your collaborative partner. This was a beautiful thing where Renee and I would say to each other often, like we just trust each other so much. Like I trust her to hold the space in the room. She trusts me to hold the space in the room. I trust that whatever she's saying for her talk is amazing. And she trusts what I'm saying for my talk was going to be amazing. And we did practice in front of each other. Like I want people to realize this, like we had some rehearsals. We had many meetings where we just like talked about the flow or talked about like the first 10 minutes. We spent many hours talking about how we were going to open up and how we were going to close. Those bookends meant so much to us. And then we would ongoingly talk about the flow. And it's interesting getting the feedback from the women that were there because they felt the flow. They felt like it all made sense. And so that's our evidence, our validation that what we were deciding on and planning actually came true. And when you can do this with heart and soul, this is how it all works out for the better. Again, like I said, was everything perfect? No, sometimes the music didn't get played at the right time. We forgot some things that we wanted to say and do, which that's okay. We have to trust that whatever came out of our mouths was intentional. We up-leveled ourselves a little bit this year, and the audience felt it. Like a lot of our friends that came to our first one who've known us the last few years, they noticed that we both stepped in. And so this is why we're doing this. We want to encourage more women to step into their big magical idea, to step into their desires and their daydreams that they keep having. And it's going to take some work. It takes this becoming work. It takes this identity work. Like if you're trying to run an event from your current identity and you've never run an event like this of like 60, 70, 80 people, you're going to be forced to do some of the internal soul work as you're going through it. And we did. And so, the way we were speaking was elevated. The way we were talking online was elevated. The way we were speaking on our podcast is elevated. The things that we're putting out to the world, the way we're operating behind the scenes was elevated. And I'm speaking for myself, but I know Renee was doing the same. I love saying this, and I've said this in some of my programs. If the universe was watching you, or actually for some people, it's like if your life was a Netflix episode and there were cameras on you 24/7, are you congruent with how you show up at home and how you show up online? Is how you speak to your family the same of how you speak when you're on stage or when you're having meetings with the team for your biggest event ever? That to me is important. Not perfection, but this congruence in your identity of how you're behaving. And so one thing that I know we both did is we really stepped up our health, because we were talking about health and wealth being one energy. And we both got to the gym or were working out at least 4 or 5 days a week. And we were both eating better the few months before the event. Like we were creating this new level identity of who is she that hosts these grand events? Who is she? Well, she is someone who takes care of her body. She's someone whose body is her asset. And I'll tell you, folks, doing that for myself, committing and staying consistent with my workouts, I didn't only have more energy. I didn't only feel better about myself and feel like limitless possibilities and have less doubt and less fears. I started having incredible spiritual downloads at the gym while I was driving home from the gym, when I was driving to the gym, and I was talking to my phone to leave notes after notes after notes. And it was so divine. And so the health and wealth energy, like I didn't expect that to happen so often. Like I know that when I'm working out, you get out of your own way, the endorphins are working, but the spiritual downloads were incredible. And so if that gets you to turn the dial up on your health a little bit more, I would love that. The wealth piece is the part I spoke about on stage. The nutshell is like, what hold do your money stories have on you? What's the relationship you have with money? That's actually it. It's less about blocks and resistance. To me, it's what's the relationship? Do you give and receive equally? That to me was the underlying note that I wanted to share, is that we're all amazing givers. And when we give, if we're not allowing ourselves to fully receive, like in all ways in our lives, then we're not truly a giver. So it's all one energy. And so the more you practice receiving, literally someone gives you a compliment, say thank you. Literally somebody gives you $20 or you find $20 in an old jacket, sitting there and say thank you and feel that gratitude through your body. You are paying a bill and you're kind of feeling like ick about that big bill, add a 0 to it and imagine it coming back into your bank account, and wait until you feel that grounded euphoria run through your body. This is actually one of my practices now. And it truly helps me feel wealthy on the inside. And I want that for you too. Wealth is an inner game. Health is an inner game. We have to create the feeling inside before it manifests into reality. Okay, so back to behind the scenes. I also was taking care of myself and taking care of myself with, baths, with Epsom salts, essential oils I was using more. I was using my crystals more. I was lighting candles more in the morning. I was allowing myself to be soothed, to be held, to be loved. I was getting my nails done. I was getting my hair done because those things really make me feel fantastic. So I did all those things. I was taking care of my skin more. All these things matter. It was really this, who is she? Like, who am I becoming? This woman who leads this big event and holds it on stage without faking it. Like, I wanted to be on that stage feeling strong, feeling bright, feeling good in my skin. And I did. And I think that's why I felt so calm, because I was feeling one. I was feeling as one. I wasn't performing. I was actually just being me. To the point where when my high heels were hurting my one toe because I have a broken ligament in one of my toes, I took the shoes off and I put my slippers on. Like, I kind of was questioning whether I should do this. And then at one point I was skipping around with the slippers because I was so happy. And that is me. I do that at home. And it was hilarious, but also I felt so free. I felt like I was living in my dream state. And when you live in your dream state, you feel so free, like that internal freedom. It's not about money freedom. It's actually about spiritual freedom. It's an inner spiritual feel. That's what I want for you all. And I truly think if I was left by myself to do all this, I wouldn't be here where I am. I think it's really important to have people around you. So not necessarily collaborate with everything, because I like doing things alone as well. I do most of the things alone. Most of my smaller events I do alone. But it's actually like having a support team, whether that's a group of friends that get you, that are doing big things like you want to do. Like running my own group, that Limitless group, actually supports me as well. So I have these women around me doing big things. They are applying to speak on big stages. They are doing work with large corporations. They are starting nonprofit organizations. They are running big teams of people that help them in their businesses. I'm around incredible leaders, and having them around me, to cheer me on and to celebrate me and to compliment me when I'm doing big things is huge. And I have a few girlfriends by my side that when I'm feeling down, I go to them and they pump me up, and it helps. But then also, it's this connection, this relationship with my inner spirit and the universe that helps the most. And I'm here with High Vibes with Binu to always talk about connecting to this bigger universe, asking for help, talking, just having conversation, which may sound weird to you, but it's not weird. Because the more you build this personal relationship with your inner spirit, which is connected to the bigger universe, the more feedback you get, the more direction you get. It's like when your intuition is speaking to you louder. And I truly think that is the only reason I even said yes to this event, because I've been having this relationship with this universe, my spirit guides and angels pretty much every day. And so I have that voice inside of me that is turned up so loud, that unconditional love and limitless possibility voice. And I trust it and I go with it, and I don't let my overthinking brain get in the way often. It shows up every once in a while when I'm tired, when I haven't eaten well. That sneaky monkey voice comes in and is trying to tell me not to do all the big things. But I have built this relationship with my inner spirit, my inner soul voice, that now speaks louder, and I leave room for her to speak louder. And so I want to leave you with all this because, most of us believe that we are our minds, but you're not. If we allowed ourselves to think that we are our minds, that's where the trouble and limitations start. We have to go higher than that. Your mind, me, everybody, we need to go beyond our own mind, realizing that we're connected to this one consciousness mind. All our minds are connected. with this bigger mind, right? The universe. Think about it however you want. But I just was reminded of this. It's like all minds are connected into one mind. That's why, like, when you say something and like one of your best friends, like, I was just thinking that, right? They'll say, I was just thinking that. Or you're with that child of yours that is like finishing your sentences, right? Or just when you're thinking of somebody, that friend texts you. This is the one mind idea. You are actually bigger and more powerful than you think. Like that spiritual energy in you, around you, is actually what's connected to this bigger universe. That's the part that's bigger and more powerful than you can even think. And so all you need to do is have a desire, have an intent, and know it's possible. So whether you want to run events, maybe you want to step on stages, you want to do that thing that you've never done, but you keep dreaming about, you need to have the desire, connect with the bigger universe, share your intention, ask for support, ask for surprises and delights, and know it's possible. Know that there's no limits. Know that it's infinitely possible for you to have what you are desiring. And then realize that it will be arranged to come to you. The spirit guides and angels, all the energy, the universe, source, God, like when you put this out there and you call in what you want over and over and you surrender and you let go and you don't worry about the how, you truly just like say, I'm open to guidance. I'm open for you to show me how good it gets. I'm open to being surprised and delighted. It'll all start being arranged. And if you can hold the space for it to be arranged and slow down enough in your mind and give yourself some stillness throughout the day to listen, to tune into the signs and synchronicities, to tune into the ideas that come through your friends, through other people, to tune into the downloads that might pop into your mind and you don't know where it came from when you're driving home from the gym, and you start trusting that, that's where the magic happens. That's where the true magic happens. And that's what I want for you all. And so I really want to let you know that this is what I do in my Limitless program, this 6-month program. It's a mentorship program. We have masterminding parts to it where the women help each other. They support each other. This is a beautiful space that has been created. And I say co-created because I created this with the universe. I'm co-creating with the women in it right now. We have a beautiful group of women that range from interior decorators to coaches to corporate leaders to professional speakers to real estate agents to physios, osteopaths. It's a beautiful group. And I want you to know there's room at this table for you if this work calls you. If you are ready to stop playing small, if you are ready to stop getting stuck in your tracks, and you would like that support, that ongoing place where you can come in and talk about the things that are overwhelming you and getting you stuck. And then imagine one call with a group and you release the thing that you're stuck with twice a month. That's it. I only do calls twice a month because I want space for all of us to do our big magical things, but we need a place to come back to. Like we need the village. Why did we ever think that we were supposed to do this on our own? We need a village. So if my village is the one that calls you, I would love for you to reach out. Just send me an email, binu@binu.ca, to ask me some questions, or DM me on Instagram. It's just my first name and last name, Binu Dinsa. And let's have a conversation to see if this is right for you. And I don't force anything. I truly go into this to see if it's right for you, and I will help you make a decision by tuning inward. This is actually what I do with everybody. It's such a beautiful place to be when you learn to tune inward and trust your own truth. So with that, friends, I'm here for the extraordinary life. You know that. I know we all deserve an extraordinary life. And if you're coming along for the ride with me, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you listening. If this episode resonated with you and you wish to speed up your growth, feel free to check out my programs and services. Just go to my website, binu.ca. And if you know someone else who is seeking more meaning in life and could use some inspiration and high vibes along the way, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world. And it goes a long way if you take a few seconds right now and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful.